Just a few things. You've seen the construction going on over on Mound Street, the water line and force main in the river. That project's moving along pretty rapidly. They're actually laying some of the pipe in the trench under the riverbed as we speak. You know, they're projected to finish that project up early in September. I know the next one I'm going to talk about is have a lot of attention. The water leak under the Ridgeway Street Bridge and the valves that are leaking in the middle of Ridgeway Street at Commercial. We're actually opening the bids on that project tomorrow afternoon at 3 o'clock. We had 11 contractors show up for the pre-bid meeting, 9 of which have committed to submit bids for the project. So it should be a pretty interesting bid opening tomorrow. Hopefully we get some wide array of quotes and somebody that can start on it right away. Anticipated once the bid is awarded and the permits and things are obtained, looking at starting that project somewhere around the first week in August to get that done. That's a 45-day projection for the project to be completed from start to finish. I'm going to try to keep the impact of traffic minimal. The only big impact of traffic is going to be that River Street will be shut down for pretty much the entire time of the project, and Ridgeway will only be impacted the last 10 days or so of the project as they do the valve insertions. That'll only be one lane of Ridgeway Street that will be impacted. So moving along pretty quickly on that also. The West Ridgeway Street paving that we started talking about late last year, that is funded through a little bit over $600,000 VDOT grant. If you see the green and white marks as you go up Ridgeway Street, that's the survey crews marking our existing utilities and water and sewer lines under there. All of those have been or are in the process of being evaluated so that any problems that are there or exist will be identified. Replacement or repairs will be made prior to the paving being done so that we don't come back 6 weeks after we do the new paving, have to dig up new paving for a water leak or a sewer problem. So we're going to address all of the utility needs underneath the ground before we do the new paving. That should be also starting sometime in early August, and that'll be a completely new asphalt job from Roxbury Street to the town limits at the bridge with new water lines at the minimum in place and an extension of the existing water line to the county line to take care of a dead end line that exists on that end, creating problems with water hammer and muddy water on that end of the town. Now, having said all of that, that will be a time-consuming job because it will all be milled out. So the impact on travel and traffic will be heavy at times, but when we're finished, it'll be a brand new road from start to finish. So, and the beauty part of that is it's only going to impact the town's finances around $50,000 because everything else is being funded through VDOT. All the sidewalks on that end of town will be handicap accessible and repaired. Curbs will be replaced, so it's a big project, a big step in the right direction to get all that done. And we're actually about 12 days into the EMS system being run from the fire department. They run about 30 calls since they started. Haven't missed any calls since they started. It's been a pretty good experience to see it take off and be so smooth to go. We did have a little bit of a glitch in that we had a few mechanical issues with the new ambulance and the conversion part of it, but I think that the supplier has worked through those, and it's been in service now for about a week, hasn't it, Chief? And is doing fine. We have transitioned from a conditional license to a permanent license as a transport agency. Serve lunch from 11 to 12, Monday through Friday through July 27th. any child in Clifton Forge can go there and get a free lunch from 11 to 12 every day. And then the last thing, I don't know how many of you were there last year, but this year we're hosting the National Night Out event again. It's Tuesday, August the 2nd at Memorial Park from 6 to 9. Bouncy house, Duncan booth. Last year Jeff braved up and got in the Duncan booth. I hope he'll do the same thing this year. Keep quick line. Fire and rescue, public works will be there with their equipment on display, and it's always free hot dogs and drinks. We're providing the hot dogs and the drinks, and they're being prepared and served through the courtesy of Clifton Forge Volunteer Rescue Squad. So it was a really fun night last year. I think, Shorty, you had a booth set up, didn't you? And a lot of that this year, so I would encourage anybody on the 2nd to come out to Memorial Park and just visit with everybody. Mr. Mayor, that completes my report.